This is how bicycles look like when they are abandoned by their owners. I just ended up with it. In this video, I'm gonna look at its condition, and two, I'm gonna try to fix it if it's fixable at all. So let's start with what the hell is this? Obviously the frame is a step over frame, and this is a city bike. It's got a basket at the front for carrying some light cargo, and it's misshapen, it's been smashed. There's a padlock with a key in it. Fantastic. The bike is filthy everywhere. Every surface on it is questionable. Yeah, needs a wash. The wheels turn, so far so good, but yeah, it's filthy everywhere. I don't know what's up with the brake. This is the condition of its brake cable. Just wonderful. It dropped a component on the ground there, which is rusty, but that's all right. The cable has to just clear through it. I don't know if it does. This seems to be coming from the end of this, and why the brake looks like this, I don't know. Obviously it's gonna need a wash. So some rust there, probably was in the rain for months. And just what the hell is this cable mess here? Who the hell mounts a brake cable like this? This is just retarded beyond description how this cable looks like. All right, for make and model, it looks like everyday traveler. There, some kind of branding on it, and there's another sticker. That one. That's enough for now. Let's take a look at, so chain rings 3, the teeth are there. So far so good. How worn it is, I don't know. Let's see if this one even moves. With difficulty. Okay, it could shift in theory. It has no branding or nothing on it, no indication. There might be something. Let's see, what does it say? I don't know just yet. It says Shimano equipped. Usually that means it has one Shimano component and everything else is just whatever, such as those, this, the chain, the brakes are not Shimano. Shimano equipped, maybe this is the only Shimano component on it. It says SIS on it, and there, that's, wow, it looks like from the 1950s. Alright, the rim appears to be intact, all the spokes are there. The tire is in good condition, its sidewall is not cracking or whatever, disintegrating. There is lots of tread depth left on the tires, so probably the axles work fine. I don't even know how many gears this has. Yeah, that many. I don't even want to count. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 speed. Wowza. Okay, filth everywhere. So let's start with a wash. And this is how it looks like after it's been cleaned up. Say half an hour of effort. So none of the black smudges and smear marks on the fork, and the frame looks reasonably, hey, it's a beautiful white bicycle. All the foot or shoe smear marks are gone from here, and I think this is a lovely bike. Now this has a steel frame. It does say steel on the sticker on the other side, and so I started lubricating the bolts here, so before I start taking them out. Water bottle holder. It's a steel frame bicycle, so that's being cleaned up. So let's look at what else we've got here. Obviously the cassette set. All of the sprockets here are not only worn, but they're also filthy. This is old, cracked, and yellow, so it's really ugly. I put the rear brake back together, fully functional. Yeah, I'm pulling on the lever here, so that's fully functional. this front derailleur looks like it's gonna work one day. I started looking at also the bearings, how easily the wheels turn, as well as the bottom bracket here, and I came across a little ouchie here, and this ouchie is best shown, it looks like it's spinning, and ouch, it just seizes at one point. Okay, so that's not normal there, so that's not how it should work. Now that the bicycle is actually clean, I can see why this might be the case. You can see that this component here is threaded in wrong into the frame. So this is nice and tight here, but it's cross-threaded. It sits crooked. You can see that gap there. And over here progress has been made. Obviously removed the chain rings and the crank together in one unit with the appropriate tool that looks like this. No tutorial on how to use the tool or what's involved here, but I'm gonna put a large wrench on this cup here. Our pedals, crappy nylon pedals. How's the assembly and the fit? It's what you expect from a bicycle of this level. It's nothing like my triathlon bicycles, thousands of dollars above the price point of this one. It's not even on the same planet, literally. So for this I obviously had to pull off the rusty chain, which is just here, and it's thrash, and of course I have the replacement. Yes, it says 8-speed. It's compatible with the 7-speed cassette set. And here we are, as you can probably guess, removing this bearing cup. This needed to be in the vise, and the whole bicycle turned around it to remove a little bit of this, and lining it up correctly will seat the bearing cup like this. Now, having a bottom bracket bearing cup cross-threaded causes two problems. Here's the first one. Ouch. This is the bearing that came out from inside. This bearing cage should be, of course, intact, not mangled up like this. Just for comparison, here is the square tapered shaft that came out. This is the intact one on the opposite side, and of course how this works is fairly straightforward. The bearing balls run here. Obviously, if it's misaligned by cross-threading, something's gotta give, and in this case it was this bearing cage. And I'm gonna reassemble this. I'm gonna clean these components and use this bearing cage, whatever is left of it, and we'll fill in the gap that's here with more bearing balls. There's no shortage of bearing balls, and the surface here is not especially worn or especially bad. It's worn all right, and it's pitted, but I'm gonna reassemble it as if this was the last bearing cage on Earth. But what if you have this utterly destroyed? This bearing will work without the cage. So from the kit, a single 1/4-inch bearing ball was added to this here, so now it has 10 bearing balls in it, and it looks like 10 is a little too many, and they don't seem to fit perfectly in place. However, that's because I removed the axle, or spindle, so when this is in place, it looks like that all 10 of them take up enough space. They rotate as they should, and they are, most importantly, well supporting the spindle. So I'm gonna go with 10 on this side, and yeah, so even though it looks like they don't lie flat, they just work out just fine. Now Why didn't I replace the other 9 when the raceway is worn and pitted slightly, whatever? Probably the bearing balls are worn and are of smaller diameter. It's because the bicycle has less than 1,000 kilometers on it. It's just been poorly assembled and never maintained. The other bearing is sitting inside the frame way down there and is doing fine. So that's the original, or that's an intact one, and that's fine as is. So I'm ready to put it all together. Now I took it about 3 times just for good measure. I thought it was a little catchy with the 10 bearing balls on this side. I took out one, it wasn't any better. I put the 10th back, so it's good. It's not catching, it's spinning freely and smoothly and has no play sideways. So how these 2 cups work is that you have to rotate them closer and closer to each other until there is no sideways play, and then tighten this lock ring, which I already did, so it's not gonna come apart. That's how the final kit looks and feels like. So it's not catchy and it's okay. Everything is greased. The tapered surfaces, the middle of the spindle, you could maybe see through this hole. There is even grease on the inside of the frame, just a layer of grease everywhere, threaded and non-threaded surfaces, just everything. Okay, so that's what went into it, and this is how it's fitted back together. So I'm good to go for fitting the crank arms back on. I'm gonna start with the drive side. Let's take a look at these chain rings. Are they worn? Yes, they are. Is there some slight corrosion? Yes, there is. Do I want to replace these chain rings by removing those little bolts? I don't think so. How badly are these worn? Same as the bearing, about 1,000 kilometers worth of wear. Yeah, there's a little bit of corrosion, but the new chain will have grease on it, and so that's gonna stop further corrosion. If this is well maintained in its future, corrosion won't be a problem. So let's put this one on. Let's check it out. How does this look? Well, it spins, so far so good. So did the previous version, but this one is not grinding to a halt or not stopping suddenly. Let's check the play sideways. There's a little bit there, so I might just tighten this one. Just how you check a wheel bearing is you got the wheel taken out of the bicycle and spin it here at the bearing. So how is it? Grindy, heavy, gritty, over tightened bearing. Right here on this random website, everything I need new for $16, and it's got a size listed here as well. So parts are available in some markets. If you're in luck, the parts you need might be available locally and inexpensively, like these ones. The dust caps for the middle of the crank arm, fittings of whatever you need. The wire ends need to be crimped off. Brake components, mine are rusty. I don't know. Axle, bolt ends, all kinds of goodies. Complete bottom brackets, mint in package. 3 hubs, chain links, brake pads, whole cassette set. One of them is probably 6-speed or whatever. So this might be available in your market. Here is an intact system on a new bicycle. So the cables and runs in there. The casing runs all the way down to this fitting. Just need this one piece of fitting here. Cable runs out of it. The cable end gets crimped. It does not need the short piece of wire or any other garbage that was in the way. The whole crankset could be replaced inexpensively. There is a new shifter, a new derailleur available. And here we are, no basket on the handlebar, but the bike is clean and is looking 487% better. The axles and the bearings have been taken care of, wheels are done, has a new chain for $22, has a new cassette set that's actually Shimano, unlike the previous crap I took off, for $25, and has a new brake cable for $9. Other than that, good old fashioned effort